Chair recognizes the subcommittee chairman on crime, gentleman from Virginia, Bobby Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Goodling, as you just heard, I was introduced as the chairman of the subcommittee on crime. The criminal justice system cannot function if the public does not trust the system to be fair. We expect judges and prosecutors to strictly follow the rule of law. We expect witnesses in criminal cases and all phases of criminal cases to tell the truth. We expect juries to be fair and impartial. And this won't work if there are partisan political considerations becoming more important than fair and impartial decisions. Unfortunately, there have been credible allegations that attorneys have been hired because of their partisan views rather than their legal backgrounds, that the culture of loyalty to the administration was more important than loyalty to the rule of law, and pressure and even firing of U.S. attorneys for failing to pursue partisan political agendas rather than the rule of law. These allegations are serious because, if true, they can clearly undermine the confidence the public will have in the criminal justice system. It's been hard for us to get to the bottom of it because when we ask simple questions, you've accused others of not telling the truth on oath. You, in fact, yourself pleaded the fifth. So it's been hard to get to the bottom of it. But let me just ask a couple of questions. In your testimony, you indicate that you have, quote, may have taken inappropriate political considerations into account on some occasions. Do you believe that those political considerations were not just inappropriate, but in fact illegal?
That's not a conclusion for me to make. I know I was acting.
No, do you believe that they were legal or illegal for you to take those political considerations in mind? Not whether they were legal or illegal. What do you believe? Do you believe that they were illegal?
I don't believe I intended to commit a crime.
Did you break the law? Did you break the law? Is it against the law to take those political considerations into account? You got civil service laws. You've got obstruction of justice. Were there any laws that you could have broken by taking political considerations into account, quote, on some occasions?
The best I can say is that I know I took political considerations into account on some occasions.
Was that legal?
Sir, I'm not able to answer that question. I know I crossed the line.
What line? Legal?
I crossed the line of the civil service rules.
Rules, laws. You crossed the law on civil service laws. You crossed the line on civil service laws. Is that right?
I believe I crossed the lines, but I didn't mean to. I mean,
Okay.
It wasn't.
In reference to the U.S. attorneys, were the investigations and indictments of Republican officials or the failure to investigate or indict Democratic officials a factor in the removal of any U.S. attorneys?
Not as far as I know.
Not at all.
Not as far as I know.
Are you aware that Senator Domenici had called one of the U.S. attorneys that was asked to leave?
I've seen the press accounts, yes.
You've seen the press accounts?
Yes.
Do you know that he had a problem with one of the U.S. attorneys?
I was aware that he had concerns with Mr. Iglesias' performance. Okay,
in the back of tab 26, you have a note that says, quote, Domenici says he doesn't move cases.
Yes, that was a comment that was made by someone else in one of the meetings that we had in the Deputy Attorney General's room.
Do you know what cases he was talking about?
I don't remember that the person who made the comment specified.
Do you know what case he was talking about? Are you aware of a case of Manny Aragon, a Democratic office holder?
I think I've seen press accounts.
Was that one of the cases that you could have been talking about?
I don't know.
Now, in the Deputy Attorney General's testimony did not include Domenici says he doesn't move cases as one of the reasons he was on the list.
It does not. The reason it did not, when we were meeting in his room, somebody made the comment that was one of the reasons. The Deputy Attorney General said that he didn't think it was something that he wanted to brief to the Senate because he didn't think it was his place to raise one member's concerns with other members, and that it would be better if Senator Domenici wanted to raise the concern with his colleagues.
Other than Domenici's problems that he doesn't move cases, how could Mr. Iglesias' name get on the list of fired attorneys? What else could he have possibly done wrong to get him on the list?
The other reasons that I heard discussed was that it was a very important border district, and that people just didn't think that he was doing as good of a job as we might have wanted to expect. I know at one point I heard someone say that he had been and this is a quote, kind of a dud on the AGAC, that's the Attorney General's Advisory Committee, and there was at some point a reference to him being an absentee landlord that somebody had made, and Mr. Sampson had indicated that he heard Mr. Mercer express concerns about the amount of time he spent in the office. But I also heard somebody else express a concern that he delegated a lot to his first assistant. So there were different comments that people made at different times.
Expired. You may finish your statement if you choose.
I mean, different people did make different comments at different times, and there were other comments that people made based on things that they felt or believed, and I wrote those down.
Thank you.